Hi, I'm Greg Hunter. This is the weekly news wrap up, the WNW 260 for Friday, November 4th, 2016. And folks, I'm really just going to talk about the election and the media. And I got a couple of new things to tell you. I want to start with the reporting going on about the coup and the counter coup. This is pretty well documented. Intelligence sources, Judge Napolitano and other people are saying, hey, listen, there's a counter coup going on. That's where all the documents are coming from. They're not coming from the Russians. They're coming from the NSA, the CIA, intelligence sources, the FBI. And the reason why they're coming is because they're trying to fight the coup that's already taken place. The Obama and the Clinton camps have taken over the State Department, taken over the Justice Department, taken over the IRS, taken over the White House. All this corruption going on. Nobody goes to jail. It's just unbelievable. And Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General of the United States, is reportedly blocking the FBI's investigation into what I've been saying, the global charity fraud that is called the Clinton Foundation. Charles Ortel, well documented that it was a global charity fraud. The Clinton cash books done by Peter Schweitzer also documented lots of information, lots of WikiLeaks information, pay to play. Also information out in books like Schweitzer's about the Uranium One deal, where 20% of the uranium that we have in America ends up in Russian hands because of donations, bribes, treasonous bribes to the Clinton Foundation. And the Clinton Foundation, listen, I've been saying this for, a year, that it was, they used multiple servers and jeopardized national security. People died. That's treason. To take treasonous bribes, like Uranium One falling into Russian hands, treasonous bribes in the form of donations to a global charity fraud, the Clinton Foundation. That's what's going on, folks. And the Justice Department is blocking investigations. The mother of all stories is the Clinton Foundation. It's it's tens of billions of dollars. It's fraudulent. It's a charity fraud. It's an enrichment for the Clintons and others. And then there are possible stories of allegations with Anthony Weiner and Huma Abedin and the Clintons, and there's possible allegations of sexual allegations coming up, and also Clinton's alleged illegitimate son who wants, Monica Lewinsky's dressed so she can do so he can do a DNA test to show he's the illegitimate son of Bill Clinton. Could you imagine Donald Trump, somebody coming out saying, hey, I'm the illegitimate son of Donald Trump, and he's shunned me? Do you think that NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, LA Times, do you think they'd all be on that, AP? So here we have Loretta Lynch of the Justice Department, the AG, who let Bill Clinton on her plane for 30-something minutes to talk about golf and grandkids. Right. Here's the quote in the newspaper: Obama critical of FBI leaks. He's critical of the leaks. Oh, you mean the leaks that talk about how she used multiple servers, committed treason, jeopardized? Now we found out 99% certainty that foreign enemies of America got this information. She took treasonous bribes, some more treason given to her global charity fraud. That's a RICO, a racketeering, a big giant case there. Her global charity. You mean he's mad about leaks about that? But how they make it is, the FBI's in the wrong for doing leaks. Listen, the FBI was wrong for not charging her the first time. That's what the FBI should have done the first time. Remember I told you that she was going to be charged, and I got this nana poo-poo, stick your head in doo-doo from a bunch of people saying that, well, he didn't charge her. Let's add yet to that. I'm going to double down on that. Clinton's going to be charged. There's no way Comey opens up this case without thinking, well, I'm going to have to charge her. Yes. And here's why the other reason why I opened up the case. Because he knew the soft coup had already occurred, which he was either corrupt or he was compromised or incompetent or all three. But you know what? In this case, he was going to have to do something because he knows more information is going to be dumped by the people with the counter soft coup, and that's the intelligent officials. It ain't Russia. It's our own intelligence agencies getting out all this information, detailed information about John Podesta, about collusion between the Clintons and the State Department, the Clintons and the Justice Department, and then we have all these WikiLeaks and all these emails they got with the CNN, colluding with the Democratic National Committee, and the Democratic National Committee colluding with the Clintons and all these other news organizations, and all these, how they screwed Bernie Sanders. That's ancient history. That's just part of the puzzle of fraud and cheating, and the mainstream media acting like propagandists and piling in on one side, and all the while saying, "Oh, they're news. Trust us. We're trustworthy." No, they're not trustworthy. This whole soft coup thing going on is important. It's one of the most important stories ever in the history of America, at least modern history, in the last 100 years. It's hugely important. It's unbelievable that we basically have bad actors, criminals that have taken over the Justice Department, taken over the White House, taken over the State Department, taken over the IRS. This is outrageous. And then you have the mainstream press, the propagandists. They're just a propaganda organization. They're willing to destroy their own business model. More on that in just a minute. They're willing to destroy their own business model, to mislead people, to obscure the truth, to lie by omission, to attack one candidate when the other candidate has huge problems. I mean, here on one side you have Donald Trump, where he said bad things. On the other side, she committed treason and obstruction of justice, and her charity is a giant charity fraud that should be charged under the RICO Act. But Donald Trump says bad things. Some woman comes forward, some group of women come forward 2 and 3 weeks, 4 weeks before the election. He touched me. And, the witnesses are, no, we didn't. And yet we're going to ignore using multiple servers to cover the fact that she was taking treasonous bribes to a global charity fraud. And then wouldn't that be a good story that the FBI was being blocked by Loretta Lynch for doing a continuing investigation into the Clinton Foundation, which, according to Charles Ertel, is a charity fraud? But no, how does the USA Today spin this story? Oh, email case puts heat on FBI chief. You read that. That took some doing to spin that bad boy. Email case puts heat on FBI chief. You mean it wouldn't put heat on the people who are involved in national security breaches that got people killed, and treasonous bribes, and a global charity fraud? You mean the heat wouldn't be on them? You kidding me? Anthony Weiner's already rolled over, and so is Huma Abedin. She's got a kid. And she's got a guy. She's putting his wiener out on the internet, and she can't go to jail. She's rolling over on Hillary Clinton. Then the reports of them finding all this information and all this collusion between the Justice Department and John Podesta and the Clinton camp. It's unbelievable. And that's why this information is coming out. It's not coming from the Russia. It's coming from our own intelligence agencies. That's what Judge Napolitano says. That's what other former intelligence agents say that are out there right now. That's what's going on. A coup and a soft coup and a soft counter coup. That's what's going on. It's unbelievable. It's very dangerous for America. And instead of this has happened. This is also this week. Women define the 2016-11. You mean it wouldn't be a global charity fraud, or the FBI at odds with the Justice Department, and the Justice Department, Loretta Lynch, blocking again an investigation into what many call a global charity fraud? You mean that wouldn't define the 2016 election? And the fraud of the Democratic National Committee colluding with Hillary Clinton and the Clinton campaign to cheat the person that actually won the primary, Bernie Sanders? You mean that wouldn't frame the cheating, the collusion with the media? You mean that wouldn't frame it? Really? I mean, this wouldn't make a good headline. Latest WikiLeaks dump includes full list of fees and from Clinton Global Initiative donors. How about the President of the United States using an alias and knowing full well that Hillary Clinton had a private servers, plural, the whole time she was at the State Department? He knew about it. He was conversing with her under an alias in his own email that wasn't a government email. How about that? Wouldn't that be a story? That's too stupid to be stupid to not have that as a story. The president is involved up to his neck That's not a story? Oh, but 2016 is defined by women. Oh, you mean not fraud and collusion and WikiLeaks and dumps and all that? You mean not that? Not a coup and a counter coup and all this information coming out? All this dreadful information? More about not the whole election cycle isn't defined by the dumps about how the media acted like propaganda machines. Here's the latest one. AP to Clinton campaign. We're preparing to report the FBI as a thumb drive, but can be steered away. They're going to cover up crime. They're going to cover up reporting about legitimate story about a crime with the Clinton camp. The AP, the Associated Press. Unbelievable. Here's another real story on Zero Hedge I got that would have been a great headline. They keep telling us there's no voter fraud, but here it is. Voter fraud allegations surface in California as man discovers 83 live ballots at his doorstep. If they had it all wrapped up in California, would they have to commit that kind of fraud? People that are my people that, visitors, viewers, whatever you want to call them, told me more than one said, oh, yeah, so many hinky things went on. They stole the election. They stole California from Bernie Sanders. And so you're telling me that you're going to get all those Bernie Sanders voters? They don't care who Britt Hume is. They don't care who Lester Holt is. They don't care who David Muir is. They don't even know who they are. But I'll tell you one thing. They know who WikiLeaks is, and they search online for all these document dumps. And those millennials are precisely the people that were backing Bernie Sanders. He's a sellout. That's what they're saying about him. Their hallmark, the Bernie Sanders voters, wasn't just free college. It was anti-corruption, anti-Wall Street, anti-big banks, not these big trade packs that take jobs out of America. No, they're not going to get those voters, the Democrats. Democrats, they cheated over half their voters to put in a corrupt criminal candidate, Hillary Clinton. That's outrageous. Donna Brazile with CNN, the first time you found out that she gave Hillary Clinton questions, CNN should have fired her right there. Why didn't they? They waited till the second time, where they started really looking bad. The first time, yeah, it's okay. You can help our buddy, the Clinton News Network, CNN. Yeah, Donna, it's okay to help Hillary. The second time, it's like, why did they fire her the first time? Corrupt. So I've told you that the layoffs are going to be stunning, and that these media companies are destroying their own business model to get in the tank for one party and act as propagandists, not as news organizations. News organizations have to be fair. They have to be fair arbiters of the truth. These people are holding themselves out. Gannett, USA Today, New York Times, NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, all these people. And they are not news organizations. They're committing fraud on their shareholders, and they're committing fraud on their viewers. And what have I been saying? Sell, sell, sell. Here's Gannett. Last week they were down 14% in a day. In a day. These are the same people that own USA Today. GCI is the stock symbol, Gannett, GCI. November 3rd, this was yesterday, at 424, their stock was $7.47. That was down almost 1% in one day, and Thursday. I did a little research, and November 4th, 2015, oh my goodness, they were $16.09. Whoa, they went from $7.47 to $16.09 in a year. Actually, since the first of the year, they're down even a bigger percentage. They've been cutting over half in a year. That's not because they're selling too many newspapers and breaking too many stories. I got to tell you, this is unbelievable. They're willing to destroy their own business model. Here you have a target-rich environment of real stories. Treason, fraud, racketeering on the Clinton side. And then on the other side, you have Donald Trump. Well, he cheated some workers. He filed for bankruptcy. Yeah, he filed for bankruptcy. He didn't get a bailout like Warren Buffett got. Yeah. On the other side, we have a global charity fraud, and books have been written about it. Clinton Cash. They just ignore this. They're willing to ignore massive fraud, treason. Treason. It's treason. People died because she had private servers. Multiple people. She took treasonous bribes. We lost 20% of our uranium business. She committed treason. She has a global charity fraud. Her daughter is a criminal. This is a whole thing, in my opinion. This whole thing should be charged under the RICO Act. That's what the FBI wants to do. So therefore, Clinton is going to be charged, and she will not be president. I'm going to triple down on that. I'm going to double down on the fact that she should have been charged in July, but she is going to be charged. Here's one for you. I guess, with their stock price getting cut in half, maybe I don't know, the general manager, all those people should be fired at Gannett. The general manager, the chief content officer, she's in the Council of Foreign Relations. Everybody in Gannett management should be out the door. Gone. Poof. You cut the share price in half in an election year. Election years are the best years for broadcasting. They're the richest years for media because, election years are the best. Presidential election years are the creme de la creme. They're the sprinkles on the icing. And this election year with, ratings for debates in the 70, 80, 90 million, it was a phenomenal election year. And their stock price is getting cut in half. So this was USA Today. I couldn't believe this is on Halloween. Corruption is the cornerstone of the Clinton campaign. How come they haven't been doing this the whole time? That's why their share price is cut in half, because they were doing phony stories. The public didn't know they were doing phony stories. They just didn't, they just weren't interested because it was kind of phony. The real stories they ignored, and they got punished for it. They should all be fired. Here's the New York Times, more phony stories. New York Times reports 95.7% fall in quarterly profit. 95% fall in quarterly profit. Ad sales are down 19%. They haven't all these falls in profit, not because they're breaking too many stories and they're selling too many newspapers, getting too many clicks on, the New York Times website. I mean, they're down 95%. Remember I told you that the layoffs were going to be stunning? They're coming, folks. Mainstream media layoffs are coming. Here's one for Reuters. Remember they did their phony polls? They got caught cheating, jamming the polls and making them, favorable to Clinton when indeed they were not. Thomson Reuters laying off 2,000 to streamline business. You think they're laying off 2,000 because they're getting too many clicks and getting too many people, too many eyeballs reading their stories and their content? That's why they're laying off 2,000 people? No. Florida newspaper. This is just a little litmus test. Says apologizes for anti-Donald Trump bias. Let me read this to you, because this is really a reflection of all the newspapers and all the people that were biased because they got pounded. They're getting killed. Just like I predicted, they're going to get killed. They're not going to recover from this. The Daily Commercial, that's the newspaper that apologized for Trump bias. The Daily Commercial, which serves Lake Sumter and counties, and Lake and Sumter counties, recently issued a mea culpa admitting that it hadn't taken a balanced enough approach to the 2016 presidential election. You think their ad sales are off and their newspaper sales are down? Yes! That's why Cliff High, when he was on Half Past Human, Cliff High does this linguistic data mining, and he said, the mainstream media isn't going to make it. I predicted that too. They're not going to recover from this. They're going out to dinner with, ABC, NBC, CBS, Politico, New York Times, all these going out with and giving editorial control over their stories, going out to dinner parties just before the big Clinton campaign law, totally biased to phony polls. I mean, you name it. It's unbelievable. They're not going to recover. So Cliff High says, the mainstream media doesn't make it. They don't make it. And he says, I talked to him on the phone just yesterday, actually. And he said, they went all in. I said, yes, they did. I mean, when I was at the networks, we at least tried to be fair. I was an investigative reporter. What I had to do to put some dirt on the air was, some terrible wrongdoing. I had to have it nailed shut, man, and welded in a box. I had to have it. I mean, the attorneys were all over it, standards, legal, the journalism review, unbelievable to make allegations on the air. Now, he touched me, these women. They just put that on the air. It's outrageous. But anyway, Cliff High said, the mainstream media doesn't make it. He said, I'll tell you, who else doesn't make it? And I said, he said, I just had a new report out. He said, I just had, new information out, new data mining. And he says, the Democrats don't make it. The Democrat Party doesn't make it. By 2020, they're not going to make it. Can you imagine all the finger pointing going on? Can you imagine how big this loss is? I mean, he was saying that Trump was winning 25 to 1. I don't believe any of these real clear politics average of polls. That's an average of fraud. It's unbelievable. And he says the Democrat Party doesn't make it. And they were talking about how, the Republican Party wasn't going to make it. What? Are you kidding me? More people voted in the than the Republican primary ever? The Democrats were saying the Republicans weren't going to make it. More people turned out for the Republican primary ever? And they're not going to make it? No. The party that screwed over half of their voters, young voters, that's the party that's not going to make it. That's why I say you cannot say, oh, we're going to get all these Bernie Sanders voters. There's no way. No way. No matter how hard he campaigns with Clinton, he basically changed to completely rolled over. Now he's campaigning for the bought and paid for Wall Street, New World Order, a Trans-Pacific Partnership hack who doesn't believe in the First Amendment, who doesn't believe in the Second Amendment, who doesn't believe in the Constitution and your rights. It's unbelievable. It's going to be stunning. One other thing, I was lucky enough to be interviewed by Jim Sinclair and Bill Holter, subscriber-only interview, subscriber-only content. And they gave me the interview that they did with me and said, you can run it on your air. They waited for a while. This is the kind of content that they have for subscribers only. So, but for me, they interviewed me about journalism. About halfway through, though, I turned the tables to interview them. I mean, they're much more interesting than I am. Jim Sinclair, Bill Holter, two brilliant guys. Legendary Jim Sinclair and brilliant Bill Holter, financial writer and market expert. Both of them are experts in all aspects of the market. And I started talking to them about what's going to happen with this election. And mind you, this was before the FBI reopened their case. And the picture they paint for November 9th and onward, you got to hear. You got to hear this conversation. That's going to be my early Sunday release. It's going to be a repurposed interview that they put out for their subscribers only, Bill Holter and Jim Sinclair at jsmindset.com, and they gave it to me, and I'm going to put it out for you on the early Sunday release. I'll put a marker in there which shows you can listen to the journalism discussion if you like, which is pretty interesting, but me interviewing them talking, I should say, not me interviewing them talking, way more interesting, and I'll put a little marker where that picks up. But that'll be the early Sunday release. Thank you so much for joining me on USA Watchdog and supporting USA Watchdog with your comments and your donations. That really helps us out. Remember, fear not. Prepare yourself mentally, physically, and above all, spiritually. God, the Father, is in control. Please, Lord, don't let liars prosper in our lands. Please help us. Thank you for your support. I'm Greg Hunter. Good luck on Tuesday.